Hey guys, this is Ilya and Miriam, and this is our second week of our world mountain bike tour. We started 2 weeks ago from Freiburg, Germany. We crossed the Alps through Switzerland, a bit of Austria, and now we were riding in north of Italy. We started yesterday, dry, clean, good smelling from Merano. We strolled a bit in Merano. We had a few pizzas and coffees. We uploaded our videos and we rolled down towards Bolzano. We had a little stroll in Bolzano. It was really nice city as well. And we started climbing towards the mountains again. The problem is, of course, the rain started and made a bit our life harder.
Yeah, because then we had to go a lot of uphill, and the problem is when it rains and we're uphill, we have the problem that we get wet anyway. If we're wearing our rain gear, then we will sweat and we will get wet from the inside. If we don't wear it, we will get wet from the outside. And we also have the problem that the rain gear we have is not made for a whole day of rain. It just doesn't keep the rain out. That's the problem. We've had multiple rain jackets that we tried, and none of them has really done the job so far.
Since the landscape outside it's basically not visible because of the fog and the clouds, we want to take the chance to review our rain gear and to kind of tell you what it worked for us in the past, what it didn't work, or how we adapt to rain in general.
Okay, so we've really tried quite a few rain jackets. Probably the best I've had was Arc'teryx, but even that didn't really hold the rain for multiple hours, and this is what we would actually need. So the problem is we always get wet. We have to try to stay warm, which we usually do by going into a little coffee shop, drinking lots of coffees, and then warming up, trying to dry a bit, and then going back into the rain, but it's just hard. And also, if you're sleeping in the tent, it's even harder because in the evening you don't have a way to dry your stuff. And if you take your wet stuff into the tent, everything in the tent will be wet. It's just it's just a bit hard.
I wear a Patagonia jacket, which seem to have, it's a bit more budget friendly and seem to have quite good reviews online. It is a bit disadvantages because you cannot wear your helmet inside, so the head cover is pretty small. I am a bit unhappy with this because I have to wear my helm on the top. My trousers are from Faude, and also the shoe covers are from Faude. They work, I would say, pretty well. At least the rain pants, they are okay-ish. You get a bit sweaty, let's say, inside, but in general they keep the rain away. The jacket, on the other hand, it holds the rain for like maybe 20 minutes in very heavy rain, and afterwards you will get wet inside basically. When you're also traveling by bike, you have a lot of speed against the rain, so the rain is going to penetrate basically the membrane way faster than while hiking.
My rain pants are from Berghaus. I actually like them a lot. They're probably the third pair that I've tried, and I like them a lot because they have zippers on the sides, and that helps a bit against the sweating if it gets a bit warm inside. And they also hold the rain pretty well, I think.
Yeah, they have Gore-Tex membrane, right?
Exactly. They're also a bit costly, I think. I spent quite a bit. I forgot how much, but I was willing to spend a bit more because the ones I've had weren't really working. And the jacket that I have is from Gore. It also has a Gore-Tex membrane, but it doesn't really hold anything. Yeah, as I said, I've tried many jackets. None of them has done the job. I'm curious if there will be one day one jacket that will kind of do it a bit better for us, but so far we've been disappointed. And the advantage it has is that I can put the kapuze, the head cover over the helmet, which is, I think, essential while biking. Yeah.
I've also tried many jackets from, for example, from mountain equipment, and I'm a bit pretty tired of spending more than 300 euros on jackets that they last maybe a season of biking. The really expensive jackets seem to work a bit better at the beginning, but then once you wash them once and you use impregnation, it just doesn't hold as coming from the factory, let's say. So I'm pretty pissed that we live in an era with electric cars and a lot of nice technology and AI, but we are still so much behind when it comes about sports clothing. Yep, it sucks.
Okay,
yes.
Are we done?
We're already in the Dolomites. We cannot see much, and the weather forecast for the next days is pretty bad. So it might be that our next video will be basically shorter because we cannot see much.
Or we will show you a lot of us biking in the fog.
Yes. One more thing I wanted to say about the biking equipment is that the shoe covers from Faude that we are using, it's basically, they are not perfect, but they are kind of a compromise because we have those crazy mountain bike pedals that they will rip apart any kind of covers that are really tight and are basically made for click pedals. So we have to use shoe covers that they are not covered on the bottom of the shoes, and as I said, they don't work 100% or we're not completely happy, but they kind of keep us dry when we need to. At least the velcros are pretty shitty, they always come loose, and yeah, we're not happy with it. At least I'm not happy with them, but
I'm not wearing them too much.
Yeah, Miriam is also not wearing them too much, but she's also getting her feet freezing the whole time.
Yeah, my feet are always soaked, and I'm complaining about it, but I'm not changing anything about it, so I should just choose it.
This is our third day of biking completely soaked.
Yeah.
We couldn't find too many shelters to dry. We found from time to time coffee.
We kind of rode from coffee to try to get dry again, or at least warm, which was, I think the first day was the hardest because it was the coldest. And now we're soaked, everything is soaked, the tent is also soaked, but at least the temperatures are a bit friendlier for us, so it's making it kind of easier to keep our body temperature at the right spot. We still have to pedal a lot to keep warm, but let's say it's not as intense as the first day, I think.
It's just really hard to find something open to drink, like a warm coffee or a tea, and to dry our stuff, so we skipped the trail entirely on the climb, and probably now we will also skip completely the trail down, because our first priority right now is to find a place that is open and to drink something warm to dry ourselves, because yeah,
I think it's also probably dangerous to take trail right now because everything's so wet, you know, and slippery.
Yeah, but we just, like, I can't take it, like I really need to get dry. The problem is if I take now my down jacket, it will soak in like 10 minutes and then I have nothing warm anymore, so I really have to first of all dry my rain jacket before changing my clothes or taking anything on. Yeah. We couldn't see too much of the mountain because of the rain and clouds, so yeah, I think we don't have for you too many landscapes to show this week, but the Dolomites gave us quite a bit of adventure, I would say, because of the rain, of course, the cold, and today we were trying really hard to go to Udine and basically the road just was completely destroyed by water because of the heavy rains, and we tried to cross the river.
It was kind of funny because it's our last big hill to leave the Alps, and this is, for some reason, the trail is making it really hard for us to leave the Alps.
Yeah.
Now we're on the last tip. We made it, we just crossed the river. I had to go until my belly button into the river
We had
try to find a spot where we can cross.
We tried to cross first on 2 trees which fell over the river. Then we tried to cross somewhere where there were a lot of stones, but there were still like areas of the river being very deep and very strong. And we found an upper portion of the river which was a bit more flat, also very strong, but we managed to cross with our bikes in the back. We swear we don't do this for clicks.
I wish. Yeah, I think the river was extremely high because of the heavy rainfalls the last few days. Probably usually it's not as crazy to pass it, but this time, today, it was just very strong, very deep. And we almost turned around because the first crossing I tried without bikes, and I was, as I said, I was up to my belly button into the water, and the water was so strong that I was seriously scared to be taken. So I knew, hey, this is really impossible with a bike, and then we said, okay, we'll try one more time at a different spot, and there it was actually possible. So yeah, we still got lucky in the end.
We like the Italian cuisine. We like the coffee, espresso, pastries and everything that we can find basically to buy. The Italian people are also very amazing. They seem to be friendly, they greet us, they are sometimes interested into our stories. What we don't actually like is how they are driving. We had quite a few times Italian passing really close to us, probably less than 10 centimeters away, so they will need a bit of improvement in this regard. The rain clothes we presented you at the beginning of this video basically were wet the whole journey. The sleeping bags are also pretty wet. The rain jackets and clothes and everything under were constantly wet across this journey. What it really helped is the higher temperature from the valley, when on the tops is like 0 degrees or sometimes 3 degrees, of course, and we're wet, we're completely frozen, and we had quite a few thermic shocks in this trip. And when you see me shaking, this is really like suffering. And yeah,
I think my tolerance against the cold is improvable. I have basically none of it. The problem is my body tends to sweat a lot, and then it gets extremely cold on the downhill. So yeah, I think the cold is really the biggest challenge for me on this entire trip, to be honest, to try to keep warm somehow. Yeah, and then of course wet clothes just make it basically impossible for us. We also woke up the last, I think, 2 or 3 mornings in a wet tent, which means that also our sleeping bags and our sleeping mats and everything inside is kind of moist or even wet. So yeah, we really cannot wait to have a few more dry days so we can finally dry everything, because this is not the way to continue.
Yeah, we might also take a rest day a bit sooner than expected because of the rain and because of needing to dry everything, so yeah.
Now we are leaving the Alps actually. We will go to Italy and then cross into Slovenia and make it towards Croatia, so we're extremely excited for some sun, some heat, some dry clothes and everything that's awaiting us.
We hope we will get a lot of nice weather in the future, because we will enter areas with a lot of bears, so we would prefer to eat somewhere outside and not in the tent to attract little monsters.
Sweetie, why are you screaming?
Because maybe people will not hear me.
Actually leaving the Alps. Huh?
Too long.